Hello everybody, video here for you today. This is the recap of the April 11th, 2023, Season 10, Episode 4, The Curse of Oak Island companion show, drilling down, called European Connections. All of the content in this episode and recap has been in previous airings of The Curse of Oak Island, except for a few teasers. If you missed my recaps of previous episodes, there's a link to the playlist in the upper right. Let's get into it. Previously, on The Curse of Oak Island, people have been looking for an incredible treasure for 228 years. Host Maddie Blake meets with Rick, Marty, and members of the team at the Lagina's business offices in Traverse City, Michigan. First up for discussion is the fact that their overseas trips all involve the Knights Templar. Knights Templar was a Catholic military order founded circa 1119 to protect Christian interests in the Holy Land. They were headquartered at the Temple Mount, in Jerusalem, where some researchers think they excavated and found religious artifacts such as the Holy Grail and the Ark of the Covenant. Growing richer and more powerful, they developed an early form of banking. Endorsed by the Roman Catholic Church, they eventually were declared heretics when King Philip IV of France, who was deeply in debt to the Knights Templar, conspired with Pope Clement in 1307 to have many members arrested, tortured, and killed, but some escaped. In 1312, Pope Clement disbanded the order. Much of their holdings remain unaccounted for. That time frame is represented by several findings on Oak Island, including pieces of wood and the paved area in the swamp, where the team began working again in the 19th episode of Season 10. In 2014, Marty Lagina and his son Alex visited Montségur, France, to check out the 1300s fortress of the same name. The sect that lived there faced the same fate as the Templars, but a theory exists that they managed to transfer the religious artifacts they were holding there to the Templars before surrendering. While there, they also visited a nearby medieval village to meet a modern-day Templar Grand Master that was named Toby Dobler, and he said the Knights Templar Atlantic Fleet went to Oak Island long before Columbus. Later that same year, a larger group of team members, including both Marty and Rick, visited Killing-winning Abbey in Scotland following the Templars' escape from France. It's said that the Templars recruited stonemasons there to build the money pit and tunnels on Oak Island, and that their descendants founded the Freemason in the 1600s. While there, they also visited Rosslyn Chapel, built in 1456 by William Sinclair, grandson of Henry Sinclair, who is believed to have joined the Templar Order and traveled to the New World in 1398. William took corn back to Scotland, which is commemorated on this chapel wall. There is one interpretation of the 90-foot stone that contains instructions for blocking the flood tunnels using corn. Also in Scotland, a researcher told the team his theory that the key to the treasure was a biblical story that had Noah's grandfather Enoch being instructed by God to create a 9-level structure below a paved surface to house treasure and documents. The researcher thinks that there wouldn't be a treasure on the 9th level of the money pit, but instead would feature a tunnel to the west where there would be. Craig Tester says that this season they do find something new that could tie into that theory. This drilling down episode was likely filmed in late winter of 2023, so the team knows things that have not been aired yet. In 2017, members of the team returned to France to visit Rochefoucauld Castle. The name Rochefoucauld was on Zena Halpern's 1300s map of Oak Island that she believed was created by members of the Knights Templar. A few weeks later, Doug Kroll found part of a ship's log recounting a 1347 trip to the New World by an armada led by the Duc d'Envie, whose real last name is Rochefoucauld. It is thought that while the Duke was fighting to reclaim control of Nova Scotia with the French military, he had a secondary mission to bury a large cache of treasure on an island south of Halifax. The log mentions that it has been agreed that a deep pit be dug and treasure securely buried, and that it would be reachable via a tunnel from the shore, and that once they reached a depth of 67 feet, there was damp soil, so they decided to dig deeper to dry soil. The team has found wood in the garden shaft that was carbon dated to 1345. While there, they traveled 100 miles southeast to the city of Dam, the site of a 1300s prison where Templars were kept, that is filled with their carvings, including one of a cross. 2 weeks later, Rick and Gary found this lead cross on the Smith's Cove beach. The metal was scientifically proven to have come from a 1300s mine in southern France. In addition to British, French, and Spanish artifacts found on the island, there have been numerous finds pointing towards the Portuguese, including the stone road in the swamp, the stone wall on Lot 26, a possible cannon fragment, and 2 small cannonballs, one of which was found deep in the Money Pit area. In 2021, Rick and other team members visited Portugal to investigate the connection. And in a church donated to the Templars by the mother of the king in 1126, the team finds this symbol, which also was reportedly on the 90-foot stone. On the exterior wall, they found this symbol, which was on the HO stone, a fragment of a larger marker stone that was blown up, presumably in hopes of finding treasure or clues under it. In a sacred convent nearby, the team was shown a marker showing how the drainage system flows beneath the convent. That reminds the researcher of the finger drains found in Smith's Cove in 1850. Next up was a Templar stronghold that features a 2,000-year-old Roman road which resembles the one found in the swamp. Alex matched the stone shot to one of the cannons in a military museum there as well. The last stop in Portugal was the town of Sintra, where a wealthy Brazilian that many believe was a Freemason rebuilt the site of a Templar stronghold in the early 1900s, engineering many structures to commemorate his fraternal and ancestral brethren. Those include this initiation well, which is 13 feet across and has 9 platforms, just like the original Money Pit. Maddie asks if there are more trips planned for abroad, and Rick says that they took a trip this year, which presumably will be shown in the next episode or 2 of The Curse of Oak Island. Rick goes on to say that it was just as informative and probably more exciting than the others. Alex then seems to indicate that it will involve Templar symbols and artifacts found on the island, and perhaps, this is quote, perhaps puts it in the context of a famous treasure that the Templars were supposed to have had, end quote. Marty goes on to stress, as Rick often does, that the information hunt is every bit as important as the treasure hunt. And this, for me personally, I get a lot of comments that lament the amount of time the search has taken. The people that just want to see treasure should wait until it's all done and watch what I'm sure will be a fabulous History Channel 2-hour recap of the entire search. I think it's stupid to watch something just so you can complain about it. This is a show about the search. I'll continue recapping The Curse of Oak Island as episodes air this season, as well as catch up on last season's Beyond Oak Island episodes as my schedule allows. Once again, I'm Coach Steve Money, Ramsey Solutions Certified Financial Coach, and you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation assessment with me at calendly.com/Coach Steve Money. You can email me about coaching or anything else on my YouTube channel at CoachSteveMoney@gmail.com. Channel donations can go to paypal.me/CoachSteveMoney. You can add me on the gram at Coach Steve Money. And of course, this YouTube channel is youtube.com/CoachSteveMoney. Thank you so much for watching.